Look good. Yeah, I just gotta give her a little why. Mailman said, looking good. I guess he had an accident when he used to ride back in the day. Seems like everybody's got some kind of bike story. A couple days ago, my roommate crashed his bike, and thankfully he's okay, first and foremost. I'll get into his injuries in a minute. But his dad called me, and this morning, after a couple days of it sitting in a tow yard, we went ahead and picked up the bike, and he wanted me to bring it to my house. And since I know these bikes in and out, basically take some pictures of it, send some info to the insurance company for him so they can pay him out for it. So this is a result of a 40-mile-an-hour crash, a motorcycle T-boning a car. So this bike's a 2023 Zx6r. It's got a steel stunt frame. Other than that, it's relatively stock. It's got this M4 exhaust, which looks pretty intact after the crash. So this bike was going straight, and the car made a left-hand turn in front of it. So it T-boned it head on, and as a result, the headlights and the front fairing is completely destroyed. Looks all shattered. Right here on the side, you have your stator built into the side of the front fairing. That's the only reason this is intact, because the stator's holding that together. So the fuses, everything looks good there as far as the wire is still intact. Like everything's still plugged in. It's just completely ripped out of the fairings and everything else. Forks, I wouldn't really trust these forks hitting a car head on. You can send the front wheel somewhere to get it tested, but that's another one of them things. I'm not sure about the rotors either. A quick eyeball like this, you wouldn't be able to tell. But it's surprising. One of the main things you can look at on a bike is the front wheel touching the headers. A quick idea if the frame is bent. Usually you can look at another bike, the same model, and see how close those forks are to the headers, or how close that front tire is to the headers. This one obviously isn't touching, but I don't think it should be that close. So something might be tweaked in here. So move forward. We're leaking coolant, and I'm pretty sure we're leaking oil. So I'm gonna start looking for damage to the engine casing. These fairings are OEM, so if these were Chinese, basically aftermarket ones, they'd probably fall apart. This fairing doesn't even mount in here. It's just pried in here between the concrete and all the other stuff going on. Yeah, it doesn't even screw in here. I don't know how that's like glued in. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, you can see it like hole punched the fairing into the frame. But that's the bolt that holds one of the motor mounts. That one is intact. If you look behind on the inside, the motor mount right there in front of my knuckle, everything looks intact. And if it's threaded in, you have a good chance that the threads are still saved. This is your lower motor mount. That one looks good. The top rear motor mount looks good. But this is a side that impacted with all the force, I believe. It's completely missing everything. And it looks like it ripped this part right here. The radiator just got smashed. And this is where the oil leak comes from. The stator cover is completely shattered. I'd say the stator's shot too. So if this was a stock frame and it had a tuck right here, basically when you have a front end collision and it smashes into something, you'd be able to see that little wrinkle a lot easier, but it's a steel tubing frame, so it naturally has a bend to it. I wouldn't really be able to tell. So I was thinking this frame might be salvageable until I looked in the back and seen this giant chunk missing right here. I don't even know where the piece is at, but this is what holds your rear set on. There should be a post right here, just like this bottom one. This is what it's supposed to look like. So sadly, just this piece right here missing and snapping off. You can weld it on, but I don't even know where it's at. On top of that, it's kind of dangerous because all your weight's on there as a rider. So this frame is technically totaled at that point. But on the good side, the last motor mount, the fourth one right here, is good. And this stator cover doesn't look like it went any further than the stator cover itself. So I'm hoping that if you take the cover off, none of the engine internals are harmed, and you could pop a new stator and stator cover on and either A, sell this motor for a couple $1,000s, or B, rebuild the bike with one of the main components still being okay. All right, so my roommate hit it head on. We see the front end's all messed up with the headlights and everything else. And then this is a side that if I had to guess, the bike did a front flip. His knees completely smashed this gas tank, so these things aren't cheap. That might have been his way. And then he front flipped a bunch of times, because right here on the tail, you got some scrape on the seat and the tank and the bar right here, even up here. And that's covered by this windscreen and everything. So if you hit the car head on, and you smack it, and then it flips. It's not too far-fetched for it to roll over the car and then land top side up and scrape this side to a stop. And not much, because he was probably not going fast. Like I said, 40 miles an hour to a dead stop. You don't have a ton of momentum going with you there. Production crew outdid themselves, but this is a crash scene, 2 lanes in each direction. My roommate here was crossing the intersection going straight when the car that T-boned him made this left-hand turn. And I don't know why he did that, because he was probably trying to beat this car and didn't even see that my roommate was here. I'm not quite sure, but he turned in front of him. My roommate had a decision, since he was already in the middle of the intersection, to either go straight into the car or go right into this pole, which he said he was pretty certain he was going to die at hitting. So he hit the car instead, did a couple front flips over it, and landed in the street over here. Look at these buildings though. I feel like I need a job in forensics. So in like the 4 months that this dude rode it, he probably put like 6,000 miles on it, I had to say. And then it sucks that it wasn't even his wrongdoing, but a car that pulled out in front of him that totaled this beauty. But yeah, we got a $10,000 2023 Kawasaki Zx6r. Insurance company is going to total it out, guaranteed, with the broken frame tab in the back. So as far as my roommate, thankfully he doesn't have any kind of surgeries from the crash. He did a couple front flips, like I said, and when he landed, he broke his wrist, and then he broke a couple vertebrae in his back, or his spine. Sorry, I'm not a medical expert, but he's okay. He's, I think, just now being able to walk after less than a week of it happening. So the game plan, I think, is to rebuild the bike. I wanted to get the damage estimates and just some pics to the insurance company and let them decide as far as how they're paying him out for it. And then my buddy's gonna let me know what his plans are with the bike, if he wants me to rebuild it, part it out, whatever the case may be, but I told him I'd help him out with it. But if you guys had some kind of crash of your own in the past, let me know how fast and what the damages were, and hopefully you guys are all recovered from it. And you guys back on the bikes, didn't scare you away from riding. So thankfully the roommate's okay, and this scare didn't make him want to not ride anymore, so he's gonna still keep riding. But I suggested that he gets a second car for times like this where he's down and out waiting for the bike to get repaired. You got something to get you around town. Other than that, guys, ride safe. Hope you enjoyed the video, got something out of it, and learned about some damages on the bike. Take care, have a great day, stay safe, and like always, keep it dank. Later.